Good morning, everyone. This is Aditya from Vermeer, India. We all welcome you to the surface mining webinar from Vermeer, India. The time given for the webinar is 11:30. We already have a few people who have joined in. It's right now 11:20. We have 10 minutes to go for the official start time. So we'll give it another 5-7 minutes so that more and more people can join, and then from then I'll have Tariq start the webinar. Thank you. All right. We have about 15 attendees who have joined this webinar so far. We're just 5 minutes away. So with the current number, I think we can get going. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Aditya Gunda, Segment Manager for Vermeer India. I welcome you all to this surface mining webinar using Vermeer terrain leveler machines. Vermeer has been in the business of industrial equipment manufacturing since 1948. We are a US-based company, and we work in four different segments. Specialty excavation and mining is one of the segment. We have other three segments like agricultural and forage, utility installation, and environmental and tree care business segments. We have been present in India since 1999 in the form of dealership until last couple of years when the company decided to start its own office here. So we have office in Chennai. Our corporate office is in Chennai. Vermeer India is a wholly owned subsidiary of Vermeer USA. Uh, we have a spare part warehouse as well as a workshop in Chennai, and we have a team of about 16 people who are based in different parts of the country, taking care of different business segments. And also, there is a service team which supports our customers for the after-sales support. In today's webinar, we will be focusing on the precision surface mining using the Vermeer Terrain Levelers machine. This particular machine, they can work in where the explosives have the limitations. Vermeer offers the top-down cutting technology that lets you basically mine the mineral seams and get the most product out of the ground as much as possible. Um, and there are different features and benefits of this machine which can be profitable as well as from the productivity point of view. This machine can help you on your mining operations. I have my colleague, Mr. Tariq Salman, who is a segment manager for specialty excavation and mining segment. I'll have Tariq take over from here and explain the product details to you guys. Tariq, please go ahead.
Thank you, Aditya. A very warm welcome and good morning to all the participants. And I'm thankful for you take your time out from your busy schedule and attend this meeting. So I know that you all are aware of surface mining technology. What is a surface miner? So here we will talk about precision surface mining, which is being done by our Vermeer surface excavation machine. So I would start with a small introduction of what exactly is a precision surface mining. It eliminates uh, drill and blast and ripping, as you all are aware of. That it can be used where drilling exploding are restricted, and also it can eliminate the use of a primary crusher. Now, another important aspect where you as a mine owner is concerned of increasing your mining production, and you already have a setup of your primary crusher. So what you can do, you can have an additional surface miner in your fleet, and you can quickly start up, as it doesn't require plant setup or primary pressure setup. So it can start over immediately when it is deployed at your machine, at your mines, and it eliminates the need of a primary crusher. So there is no increase in your pressure on your existing capacity of your primary crusher. So, and with the consistent size, surface miners can increase the throughput to your secondary crusher. Another bigger aspect why it should be used is like you can increase your ore availability. I have visited a lot of mines and seen a lot of areas. There are restrictions of using explosive, which are closer to buildings or inhabitants or roads or dams, etc. So there, you cannot use drilling and blasting technique. So what is the option? Here you can use your surface miner so that you can get maximum of your ores from the lease area of your mines. And also you can mine close to water table or some other waste. Here it's a small picture, like if you can see, there are a lot of waste materials which are interspersed within the gypsum mine. This is a photo from a gypsum quarry, and you can see a lot of uh, waste materials which are there in these mines, which are interspersed with along with the gypsum deposits. Now, if you do drilling blasting, these material gets mixed into your ore, and this decreases the quality of your ore. So what you can do, you can use your surface miner and do selective loading, wherein all the waste materials is uh, loaded separate and dumped in the dump yard. Another photograph is like a quality of copper available. This is a photo from a copper mine, wherein the copper deposits are of varied qualities. So you can do selective mining in surface mining or precision mining in this area, wherein the quality of the product is to your desired level, and utilize your ore accordingly. Another important advantage is that you can get a smooth slope mine floor, which I will talk about how we can achieve using this thing. Here is a small demonstration of pictures from a iodine mine in Chile, where you can see a quite slope mine. And you get a uniform product size from by using a surface mining, and that what gives you increased throughput to your secondary crusher. Now, here is a brief summary why you should utilize a precision mining is to achieve a higher product quality, and you can be cost effective by mining thin seams where different materials are interspersed with your desired ore. You can mine in thin seams and be cost effective to get maximum of your product and removal of your impurities. You can get smooth slope mine floor where there is a during monsoon there is a water logging issues. You can plan your mine plan accordingly so that you have a smooth slope wherein all the water drains out to a trench or water collector. Now you can get a production of uniform material with approximately similar size particles of your ore, and which increases your material handling and loading and hauling. So you don't require bigger haul trucks for your size. While using explosive, you get bigger chunks of material. So you require bigger size, bigger capacity haul trucks, and that increases to your cost. So what you do, you can have your surface miner and you can uniform smaller product size, and you can use smaller haul trucks for logistic purpose. Here, Vermeer offers two models for your surface mining application. One is 1255 terrain leveler, another is T1655 terrain leveler. We will talk about this advantages of Vermeer surface miner as such. And here you can have a small video to I will be talking about the features in my latest slides. So you can see the video as of now. So we have two different drives for our surface miner lineup. One is surface miner with a chain drive system, and the other is surface miner with a direct drive system. Chain drive system, we have an hydrostatic system with a hydrostatic motor, which is driving the chain or rotating the chain, cutting chain and drum. Here you can see in this picture that we have a chain which rotates this drum, cutting drum, and basically all the rotatory force is from the drums to the rock. So in terms of efficiency, the chain transmissions has a negative impact on the efficiency, and also it's a wear item. So it slightly increases the cost of operation. However, it can be most efficient when we are talking about cutting harder rock formations, etc. So Vermeer has also having an option of a direct drive motor, which is on the single side of the drum, which rotates the um, cutting drum. So herein we have seen on an average that we get an 25% higher production and 30% lower in terms of operating cost for a direct drum versus a chain drive system in similar conditions. Now, when we are talking about cutting drum, we have a unique feature that the cutting drum is located at the rear of the equipment. And while the machine moves forward, the cutting drum is at the rear cutting and leaving the material behind. The advantage here is that number one, it is having an ease of in terms of changing the cutting teeth, right? And also it can cut square corners. And also you can have if you are having you know uh, a high ball or a water table, or which is like in terms of a deep water table, then you can be cutting while driving backwards. Now we have a unique feature of uh, low rotation and high torque motors. We do not basically in our philosophy, what we feel is that we should have a high, instead of a high speed motor, a low speed with a higher torque, which gives an advantage that the drum weight is acting as a hammer and increases the tooth penetration because of the sheer weight. Here I will give you a fair idea that the drum attachment is uh, weighing approximately 45 tons individually, apart from the weight of the machine. So it is the advantage or the benefit is that we can cut hardened rock material, and it is basically suited for coarse grain rocks like conglomerate, limestone, and it is also reducing the wear life of on the drum skin as well as tooth, because once the material is being cut, it immediately gets left behind due to the top-down cutting, which I will discuss in my next slide. Now, the rotation drum speed rotation can be controlled. We have a hydrostatic variable speed controller, and it is designed in such way that the maximum horsepower of the engine is being given in the range of 70% to 100% of the rotation speed of the motor, which increases the depth of void, which is denoted by DOB, and uh, we can get basically a uniform size of the material. And here we can control by limiting the rotation speed, the size of the particle which we want. And the operator needs to work on the rotation speed and the speed of the machine to get the maximum output in terms of cutting material as well as the size of the product. Now, when we are talking about the unique feature, we have a down cutting feature, which in a layman's term is like a hammering the harder material. So uh, instead of scraping the material out. So once we have a drum moving and getting in contact with the material, it acts as a hammer, and it increases the tooth penetration in the rock, and it leaves the material behind. So it has two advantages. Number one, we don't do the recutting or grinding of the material, so we get a uniform size and lesser number of fines. The other thing is that since the drum is not getting in contact with the material in the with the material, it is not wearing out the drum skin faster. We do have a corrosion protection layer on the drum to reduce the corrosion of the drum skin. Another feature which we have is what we call as the standoff height. Drum standoff height is the distance between drum skin and the mine floor. Higher the height, greater are the chances of reducing the wear on the drum skin. And also we get larger size particle, and we can increase production by not re-grinding the same material by cutting and moving forward. We can also cut in boulder type conditions, so the boulders can get cut and distributed behind. Now, the cutting drum pattern is in inverted V pattern, which increases the windrowing to the center of the material. So all the cut material is winddrawn to the center of the drum. Another special feature is which is a patented feature, that the drum can be tilted 5 ± 5 degrees on the both sides. And also, while the tractor attachment can be operated up to 35 degrees in terms of elevation. We have another feature which is 3D leveling capabilities. This tilt drum helps in achieving a 3D cut and uh, mine cut to the plan. So we have it helps in leveling the surface with high inclination angles. And how do we achieve a 3D cut? Is using a GPS guided gradient control. Uh, Vermeer surface miners are GPS ready with all the antennas on the attachment, while you need to have a GPS basis station which can be set up separately at the mines. And once you design your mine plan, that system can be feeded into, and you can achieve your smooth mine flow. Here are before and after pictures of the mines wherein these systems are being used. Another important feature is that the machine is having low point of center of gravity, which helps it in working in higher inclination angles. And the unit weight is distributed over the dual track surface, which have a low bearing capacity. And it therefore helps, we can work in higher number of undulations compared to a similar um, surface miners of the competition. When talking about approaching and operating angles, we have seen that we machine can work up to 15 to 20 degrees of approach angle, and while the engine is capable of plus minus 35 degrees of elevations in terms of front and back, also left and right. So here you can see in this picture, we are working at around 20% of an inclination. Another optional feature, which is most, I would say, right now with the current environmental situation, which is most important in my opinion, is that dust suppression. Dust has been a major environmental hazard uh, for the mines in the past, and we do have an optional features with a vacuum system, which sucks up all the air and the dust through these suction hoses, and then it gets filtered and collected through an air bag and then released onto the track. So all the dust is being released here while being sucked up through this suction hose. And we have seen a reduction of to 95% of the uh, dust with non with the uses of this particular dust suppression system. Now, when we were talking about the GPS system, now we have what we have done here that we have mapped up our mine plans and then feed it into the GPS system. Here you can see that machine is having an auto steer function. Once it is been set up, the mine plan has been designed and set up in the system. The machine itself take over using the auto steer function, and it cuts as per the mine's plans. And it also reduces the risk of human error and now it enables minimal cutting head overlap. It also optimizes productivity by minimizing steering conduction if done in during the manual mode. Here you can see that they have a double antenna GPS antenna system, which is connected to a GPS base station. Uh, what I have seen in the lot of mines that lot of areas have been left over because of the inability of an equipment to cut next to the walls. So we have, since the machine is having a cutting drum which is wider than the tracks, we can cut right next to the wall, and we can cut square corners. We can cut up to 90 degrees with the chain drive system and up to 80 degrees uh, corners with a direct drive. Here are some pictures. In the picture in the middle, this our surface excavation machines have also been used for constructions, and this is a large drainage trench being made by using our terrain leveler for a construction site in Qatar. When talking about operation and software, Vermeer has its own software and to take control of all the functions. What we call is as a smart tech. It's a basically a system which has all the inputs from the machine in terms of performance, and it guides the operator to operate in terms of maximizing the productivity and maximizing the throughput of the machine. And it helps in reduction of manual errors. Another optional features we have is a full functional remote control. So when we are taking the machine to hazard, water hazard, or when we are using on the edges of high walls, herein, what we can do, we can sit in a vehicle outside the machine and use this full function remote control to operate and to in order to have a safe practice of operation. This system can be used in a vehicle, but it has to be uh, a mat style sitting switch in the vehicle so that it gives a operation sense system to the machine that someone is sitting in the machine. So what we do, we have this remote sit in a vehicle, operate the machine, and reduce the chances of any accident. Some of the specifications, as I told earlier, that the attachment, the cutting attachment is 43 tons for a chain drive system, while 53 in terms of when we are having a single side direct drive motor. The tractor remains common with approximately 67 tons of weight. Here are some success stories, what we have achieved. As I've talked about earlier, that there have been a lot of features which adds to the capability of our machines cutting harder ground conditions. So you can see here in limestone mine in Italy, the deposits had ranged in hardness from 100 to 130 megapascal, and we have achieved on an average of 340 tons an hour, while the tooth consumption was an approximate of one tooth an hour. Uh, we have used our machines in copper ore in Africa, wherein we have on an average 1200 tons per hour of production, while approximately 800 tons in harder rock. Another success story is from iron ore in Western Australia, where we have achieved on an average of 800 tons per hour. Recently, we have been working very closely in bauxite mines in Guinea, wherein the production, I would say, is being, sorry about that, of 500 tons an hour. And herein the mines owner was so much satisfied with the performance that right in span of around 6 years, we have 10 Vermeer surface miners working, and the oldest one is now crossing 30,000 hours of operation. Having said about the precision surface mining and the advantage, I would once again summarize that Vermeer surface miners have the capabilities of cutting harder material, giving more output, and a consistent size product. So with this, I would end my presentation. And if you have any questions, you can ask. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Tariq. With that, we are open for any questions. If you have any questions, you can type in the chat box, or you can even just unmute your mic, and then you can. We did have a question, Tariq, from Mr. Priyank Prudvi. Thank you, sir, for your question. He's asking whether the machines can be used for limestone with 2.7 bulk density.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can be used. I would say that there are materials which needs to be tested at our factory, and yes, we have seen in the past that machines have been used in limestones which have specific density more than 2.5, 2.6. So definitely it can be used. However, if we can discuss in detail, if you want to have a machine at your mines, we can do a small test at our rock lab factory, and we can get back to you on this.
Tariq, I have a question as well. Like
Yeah.
you did mention about the top-down cutting approach we are using for the surface miner. So, like, would you like to explain that a bit in detail? Like, what exactly is the process, and like how the drum rotates and everything?
Yeah, yeah. Just a second. I will come to that slide. So since the machine is moving forward, this is the direction of machine travel, and the drum is at the rear side, rotating in the same direction as the direction of travel. Now, once it is moving forward, if you, I hope Aditya, you are seeing this
Yes, yes,
slide.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing this.
Okay. So see, I am moving my cursor in the direction of the drum right now. So drum is rotating. So now when it is coming and the teeth are getting in contact with the fine material, it sorry, it basically helps as an hammering effect, which increases the depth of tooth penetration. Right. Once
Right.
the teeth gets penetrated and the machine moves forward, it cuts and pushes the material behind. So it is
Okay.
not okay. If we are trying to scrape, I will just talk about bottom up here also cutting. But if suppose if we had a bottom up, and drum would travel this way and try to scrape the material out, right? And the material comes along the drum throughout the drum diameter of the drum and then drops behind. So this results in the grinding of the material, and it reduces the size of the material. So at places we have seen it generates more fines, which is not desirable by a mine owner. Now, instead, we have designed our surface miner as such that it is moving and rotating the other way around, and it is getting in like top down. Like the top of the drum is getting in contact with the mine material first, and then leave the material behind, cuts and leave behind. So, because of the sheer weight of the drum size and the horsepower generated from the machine, we can increase the tooth penetration, and that's the where the advantage is, that we can cut harder materials compared to our competition, where they use the scraping method while we use the hammering method, to explain in layman's terms.
All right.
I hope I'm able to understand. Any
Yes,
other
I
question?
mean,
Yeah.
also like, what if there are like a lot of inclinations on the ground surface of the mines? Is this still suitable for handling those inclinations?
Are you talking about inclinations or undulations? There are two things,
Uh, I'm
two different.
I'm not I'm just saying that uneven surface. That would be
So
my
undulations,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So undulations definitely can be handled. Uh, yes, we can cut in terms of we have a GPS system, and we can level the ground first. So initial, if, initial, I would say, depending upon the size of the machine, few days to a week, we do the leveling of the ground. And in case there are a lot of water clogging system, we can have a sloped mine as floor as well, to drain out water during the monsoon. So
Right.
that is one. If there is not a water issue and we want to, work on a smooth floor itself, that can be also done. We remove the undulations first, and then comes to production. So the advantage of working in smooth mine floor is that it also helps in increasing the production out numbers.
Okay. You did mention the inclination as well, like working on
Yeah,
a slope.
inclination is like, if the ground is like near to mountains or hilly areas, right? So we have seen that the level is uh, up to 15 20 degrees. We are okay with working in those kind of in, inclinations, while the machine is capable of working up to 35% inclination.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from anyone else in the audience? Except Mr. Prithvi, Priyank Prithvi, we didn't have any questions, so we don't have anything on the chat box. Tariq, if you have anything specific to highlight, maybe you can go ahead. If not, then I think we can wrap this up.
Uh, I would add to my slide that we Vermeer has its own rock lab testing facility in US, wherein we do a lot of tests specifically in terms of energy index. Energy index is unique feature. Some we have seen in the past that materials which are soft in terms of hardness. Like for example, we have seen in one of our bauxite mines that the material was not very hard, approximately 30 MPa, but it has a high energy, so it behaves like a 80 MPa rock. So where that's why we're not, at times we have seen the other surface miners were not able to cut. So and even at places we had faced that we have experienced a terrain leveler not working just because of this reason that the rocks have been behaving like a 200 MPa rock instead of 80 MPa rock due to high energy index. So we do a lot of testing before we suggest to any mine owner whether the machine will be suitable. And also there is another test on the abrasivity of the material, how abrasive the material is, how will be the tooth consumption. So based on that, we can give a fair idea of what our terrain leveler be giving in terms of output and what will be the cost of operation. Just a fair idea before even deploying the machine. So we have designed our rock lab as such to like us in a layman's term, it simulates what our terrain leveler will be performing in terms of in a particular mine as such. So in case you any of you are interested to have our machines deployed at your site, I would request you to send us a sample or communicate further. We can take up samples and send it for a test. And as such, I will again repeat that machines are capable of cutting harder um, material, be it limestone, iron ore, bauxite, copper, anything, uh, and uh, up to a certain, obviously, economic level. We have seen that machines can cut up to 180 MPa rocks, but whether it is economical to use there, that has to that studied. Also, it can work in any specific gravity material to again answer Mr. Priyan's question. So yes, in a nutshell, machine is being designed to cut in areas where other conventional surface miner or earlier, I would say, earlier generation surface miner were unable to cut. With that, I would end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tariq. That was a great webinar highlighting the Vermeer surface mining technology. I hope everybody who joined from different organizations were able to understand what exactly Vermeer has in store when it comes to surface mining technology. We look forward to interacting with you soon in our upcoming webinars, as well as you can reach out to us if you have any business inquiries for the mining operations. We once again, I would like to thank everyone for taking out time off of their schedule and joining this webinar. Thank you all.